My magical peeps. So we are going to be doing the Lost Souls Shawl. Pattern is by Maryetta. Now it is a free download on Ravelry. All credit is given to Maryetta. I believe in her tutorial she used an Aran weight. You can use a number 3, a number 4. Use chunky if you want to. Use the size hook that you feel will best reach your gauge. I am using this Bernat Satin Sport. I have changed my mind. I was going to use a Red Heart Super Saver, but it split so badly I decided that I'm not using it. And this has a little bit of a sheen to it. Now the reason I didn't use the Caron Simply Soft, which also has a sheen to it, is because I didn't have any in solid colors, only in self-striping, and I didn't feel, especially for beginners, doing a pattern that would be easy. These are 50 grams, 139 yards, 127 meters, and a number 3 weight. This recommends a G hook, but I'm using an NH. Now, again, you can use whatever weight yarn you want to, okay? But I think a 3 or 4 weight would make a very lovely lacy shawl. Now, let's talk a little bit about the pattern. In this pattern, you are going to be doing chains. You're going to be doing double crochet, single crochet, and a half double. That's it. It is super easy. May not look like it, but it is. Okay, so we will be creating shells. Anytime you hear shell, that is going to be 2 double crochets, 1 chain, 2 double crochets, okay? 2 double crochets, 1 chain, 2 double crochets. That creates a shell. A double shell will be a shell that I just explained. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And in the same space, you will put another one, but separated by a chain 2. So for a double shell, it'll be double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, then chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, okay? As you see here, I have completed a face. Now, here's his chin, bottom lip, mouth, upper lip, working on the nose, the bridge, the brow, the top of the eyes, the forehead, okay? And you notice that he is suspended by all of these chain 3. Okay, so he's just kind of like sitting out here in the middle. Now, after you get to about row 10, I think it is, then you're going to do a double shell and you're going to start increasing. And as you can see, here's a chin and a mouth and the upper lip. So now I have expanded to do another face here and another face here, okay? And how big your shawl will become depends on how many rows you want to do. I believe Maryetta did 98 rows on her pattern. Okay, so I'm of course not going to be doing 98 rows with you. I am just going to be doing a couple repeats of the rows 10 through 16 to create more faces. And then you can just carry on from there, okay? Beautiful lacy shells are the border in this pattern. Very, very pretty. Skulls are not something that I ever thought that I would do, but for Halloween and Day of the Dead and those types of things, they are very, very cute. Very, very cute. So follow along with me and let's get started. I'm hoping that you have gone ahead and downloaded or printed out your pattern. Okay. You can put it on another device as I have here if you don't have a printer, and you can follow along with it on another device. I have got mine on an old phone that I had, and I downloaded it on Adobe as a PDF here. And so this is the Lost Soul Shawl by designed by Maryetta Roy. Okay. So again, in this pattern we will be doing a double crochet, half double, and a single and a chain. Okay. And a shell consists of 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets, all in the chain 1 space of a shell from the previous row. But when we're doing our beginning shell, we're going to use a chain 3 as the first double crochet of that shell. So it'll be a chain 3, a double crochet, then your chain 1, and the last 2 double crochets. Okay, so go ahead and get your directions and let's get started. Now on row 1, we're going to make a magic ring. Some people are intimidated by this, and I think it's very, very simple and easy, and I don't know why people have problems with it. I'm sorry, my camera is just not in the right spot here. Let me see what I can do to get it angled a little bit better so that you can see where I'm working. There, I think that's better. I'm trying to create a space on my lap here. Okay, so how I make a magic circle is very easy. I just take my index finger and I yarn over and I make a crisscross, just like that. Okay, you can hold the back yarn with your pinky and ring finger behind if you want to for stability. Then I just simply stick my hook in under that X, crisscross, grab the back loop and pull it through. Okay, stop right there, gently slide it off your finger. Okay, now you've got a magic circle. Okay, so there's your magic circle. Go ahead, hold on to it. Go ahead and wrap your yarn on your fingers however you like to when you're working. Now go ahead and let's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 is going to count as the first double crochet of our shell, okay, in that ring. Let's make one more double crochet. Wrap over, go into the ring, pull up a loop. We've got 3 loops on our hook. Wrap, go through 2, wrap, go through 2. That's a double crochet. And you'll notice how the chain 3 and the double crochet are the same height. That's why you can use this double crochet as your beginning shell. Okay, so a shell is 2 double crochets separated by a chain 1. So chain 1, 2 more double crochets. Okay, there's 1. And you can move your fingers up and hold your work however it's most comfortable for you, but make sure you're going into the center of your ring. Okay, so we've done the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We did a double crochet, we did a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Now I want you to chain 2 because we're going to put one more shell inside of this ring. So what's a shell? 2 double crochets. Here's 1. Pull up some more yarn. 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochet to complete that shell. 1 and 2. Whoops. Okay. All right, now we have completed 2 shells in this ring. All right, with a chain 2 space in between. Go ahead and pull your tail and cinch up your little magic ring. Okay, so that's all cinched up now. All right, you can go ahead and turn your work. Now chain 3, and we're on row 2. Okay, so this is called the base. Now we're going to put a shell inside the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. Okay, so see this chain 1 space right here? Go ahead and put a shell in there. So what's a shell? 2 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, Now we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're going to skip this chain 2 space right there, this one right here. Okay, and we're going to shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. So we're mirroring what we did on this side on this side. Okay, so let's put a shell over here. Again, that's 2 double crochets. Oops, I didn't get my wrap on there first. 2 double crochets. There's 1. There's 2. Chain 1 and 2 more double crochets to complete that shell. 1 and 2. Okay, now you can either turn your work or chain 3 first. I like to chain 3 first. 1, 2, 3, and then I turn my work. Okay, so now we're going to put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. Okay, so again, your shell is always going to be 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do 7 double crochets. Whoops, I'm out of the camera. Sorry about that, guys. We're going to do 7 double crochets over this 7 chain space here. Okay, so wrap, go into the space, wrap, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on. You know how to do a double crochet by this time. Wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. Okay, that's 1. Do 6 more. And if you need to slide these, guys, you can easily slide these to make enough room. Okay, so 6 more double crochets in that same space. Oop. Now, can you see I've got some fibers created a knot in my work here, and I don't know that I can pull this out. Let's try and pull it out very loosely. See what happens here. Now, these are the kinds of things, you know, when you work with fiber that you encounter. So again, we've got 2 double crochets and I need 5 more. If you're ahead of me, just go ahead and wait. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to mirror what we did on the other side. So what did we do? We did that chain 3. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. 1, 2, and let's chain 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. Okay, so this is how we're looking so far. You see, we're working on the chin here. Okay, so that's the chin. Now we're going to start working on the mouth. All right, so let's put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row, and you can kind of guess that this is a theme. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the shell in the chain 1 space here. All right, so, and if I have to stop this, it's because I don't talk very much because I live alone and I don't see people very often, and between my Tourette's and not talking, I lose my voice sometimes very easily. Okay, so we did 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space. Now remember, we've got to do a chain 3 because that kind of suspends the face. Remember, I showed you that in the beginning. All right, so we're going to go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it says we're going to single crochet in the first double crochet. Okay, So here's our first double crochet, and here is the space we want to go into. So you want to catch the two V's, the two bars, that stitch, okay? So we're going to make a single crochet. So all we're going to do is simply go in there, catching those two, let me get that out of the way, catching those two bars on our hook there, see the 1, 2, okay, and we're going to pull up a loop and go through both. That's a single crochet, okay? Very, very easy, okay? So now we're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and again you want your chains to be very, very symmetrical. Get them as even as you possibly can. When you're doing your work, you can always move your fingers up to hold your work if need be, okay? And now we're going to mirror what we did on this side. So we're going to do a single crochet in this last double crochet. Again, get the two bars on your hook, 1, 2, okay? Go in, pull up a loop. You've got 2 loops on your hook, pull through both. That's a single crochet. Chain 3, 2, 3, and put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous round, okay? So that's 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, 1, 2, I just had a cat jump up behind my neck, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now we are on row 5, which says lip, okay? So to see where we are, here's your chin, here's your mouth, okay? You're getting excited, you're starting to see a little bit of a face here, okay? Okay, so we are starting row 5, and of course at the end of every row we do our chain 3 and then we turn, okay? Then we're going to put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. So that is 2 double crochets, there's 1 and 2, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. And guys, if this is too fast, you can always pause it until you catch up, okay? So there we go. We've got our shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. And you can kind of see what's going to happen next. There's the chain 3. So we'll do our 1, 2, 3 chains, okay? And then we are going to single crochet in the single crochet from the previous row. So that's this one right here before we did our 7 chains, okay? Remember, try and get the 2 bars of that stitch, okay? All right, so we did our 1 single crochet in the single crochet from the previous row. Now we are going to create 7 single crochets over this chain 7 from the previous row. So we go into the space, we grab our yarn and pull up a loop, and we wrap and go through both. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to mirror what we did on the other side again. And you can kind of pull your stitches so that they fit evenly on that chain 7. Okay, so let's do a single crochet in that single crochet from the previous row. Go in, yarn over, pull up a loop. See how it's splitting right here? Oh, I don't like that. Okay, let's chain 3, because we're just doing the same exact thing that we did on the other side, only in reverse. Okay, and we'll put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. So again, that's 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. You can hear my cat Ollie in the background. He's got a very unusual way of talking. Okay, so we have completed that row 5. Let's chain 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. So you can see how we're building the upper lip now. Okay, so now row 6, we are going to be starting to work on the nose area. Okay, so again, let's do our shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain 3, because remember the face is suspended by these chain 3s. Okay, so there's 3 chains. I'm getting a little bit of yarn globbed up here, and my battery is dying on my directions, so I may have to stop for a little bit. Okay, all right, so now we are going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. Okay, so that is this single crochet that we did, that one, and that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and single crochet in those first 3 stitches. Pull up a loop, go through both, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, go through both, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and go through both. Okay, and then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, yarn over, go in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, go through 2, and go through 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and this is going to act as the little nose hole. Okay, so we're going to skip a stitch, skip the next stitch, and then we're going to double crochet in the following stitch. Okay, don't forget to skip that stitch, because you need the little nose hole. See the little nose hole I've created? Okay, and then we single crochet in the last 3 stitches. Okay, so we're just mirroring what we did on the other side. So there's 1, here's 2, there's 3, that was that 1 single crochet from the previous row. Okay, you can guess what comes next. The chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then our shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, there's a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, and as always, we are going to chain 3. Oops, we got a little knot here. Let's see where this knot is coming from. Just get that pulled out. Boop. You like my sound effects? Boop. Okay, so we did our shell, so we chain 3 and turn our work. 1, 2, and 3, and turn your work. So now you can see you have got the chin, the mouth opening, the upper lip, and now you've got his nose created. Isn't this fun? Okay, we're going to pause for a moment. So we are going to be starting on row 7. We have chained 3 and turned our work. This is how we look so far. There's the opening that we made on the previous round for the nose. Okay, so go ahead and put your shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. And if you hear clicking and stuff, that is me. Otherwise, you will just hear probably my cats talking in the background. And unfortunately, that's just part of Madison's magical here, because I do raise cats. So, all right. So we've got 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and there's the last 2 double crochets. And as always, let's go ahead and do our chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we're going to do a different stitch. We're going to do a half double crochet in this first stitch of the nose row from the previous round. So we wrap, we go into the stitch, and pull up a loop. We've got 3 loops on our hook. wrap, and go through all 3 at the same time. Okay, and now we're going to create an eye socket. So chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we are going to go into the nose opening that we made on the previous round, and we're going to do a single crochet. So just simply go into that space, wrap and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, wrap and go through both. That's a single crochet. Now, of course, we've got one eye. We need another one. So chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And let's put a half double crochet in the stitch from the previous round. We're just mirroring again. We always mirror from one side to the other. Okay. So we wrap, we go into the stitch, we pull up a loop and go through all 3 at once. Okay. And then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put a shell in the chain 1 space from the previous round. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay. 1 and 2. Now what do? We chain 3 and turn. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. And this is what we look like. Look at, guys, we've got the mouth, the nose, and 2 eyes. So now we're going to start working on the brow. Okay. And then we'll start on the forehead. I bet you're getting excited because you can see a face now. Isn't that cool? Okay. So we are starting on row 8. Row 8 is called an increase row. Okay. Now remember, I mentioned to you a while back, you may not remember, but when we do an increase, we are going to be putting not just 1 shell in the chain 1 space from the previous row. We're going to be putting 2 shells separated by a chain 2. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a double shell in the chain 1 space from the previous row. So your regular shell is 2 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, 1 and 2. Now we want to put another shell in that same space, but let's separate the 2 shells with a chain 2. So chain 2, 1, 2, and put another shell in that very same space. So 2 more double crochets, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, and that is your increase. And the reason we're doing this increase is because we're going to start preparing to open up the space for additional faces or skulls on the preceding rows, okay, or in the future rows. All right, so we've got our double shell in there. So we're going to chain 3, as we always do, to suspend that center face. Chain 3. We're going to put a single crochet in the half double crochet from the previous row. Okay, so we simply just go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and go through both. Okay, all right. All right, so now we're going to do 7 single crochets over the chain 7 space, over the eye space. Okay, so we just simply go into the space, pull up a loop, go through both. Okay, do that 6 more times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for a total of 7. Okay, and then we are going to skip the single crochet, and we are going to do 7 more single crochets. Okay, so we're skipping this single crochet from the previous round, which is right above his nose, and just do 7 more single crochets in the other eye socket opening. 1, 2. Sorry if I'm getting blurry here. 3, 4. Trying to stay in camera. 5. Whoops. 6, 7. Pull up some more yarn here. My ball of yarn got underneath my arm, so it kind of got stuck a little bit. Okay. All right. Look at our little face. Isn't he cute? Okay, so we did our second 7 single crochets over the chain 7 eye socket. Okay, so we're going to single crochet in that half double crochet from the previous round, which is right here. Okay, so simply just go in and do a single crochet. If you can get into the stitch, that is. My yarn is splitting. That's why I didn't use the red heart, because I don't like it when yarn splits. But it happens. See how that split there and creates a little loop? I don't like that. Okay, do your chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a double shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. Okay, so again, a double shell is 2 double crochets, a chain 1, 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 2 to separate the 2 shells, and 2 more double crochets, a chain 1 and 2 more double crochets, chain 1, and the last 2 double crochets in that space, and that completes 2 shells. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so we've got 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then the last 2 double crochets. That's 1 shell. Chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 last double crochets. Now chain 3 and turn your work. 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Look at your face, guys. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. Okay, now we are starting to open up here so we can create 2 more faces in these areas where my thumbs are. Okay, so that's what's going on there. And let's go ahead and we are going to begin on row 9. Okay, we are going to start on row 7. Now, I have to apologize ahead of time because my cats are going absolutely crazy. I have recorded this 3 times already. I'm sorry, not row 7, row 9, the forehead row, okay? And yeah, they're just making a lot of noise, and I apologize ahead of time, but I hopefully will not have to record this again. All right, so we have chained 3, we've turned our work, and if you remember, we did a double shell in the previous row on both ends. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the chain 1 space of the first shell. Okay, this is the first shell separated by this chain 2 space and the second shell. So we're going to put a shell in this first chain 1 space. And I am going to make a lot of noise right now because the cats are making a lot of noise, and I apologize. Okay, so if I talked a little bit loud, it was just to try and cover up that noise. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, a chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. And that completes the shell in that chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. Okay? And now we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. we're going to place a shell in the chain one space of the second shell from the previous row. Okay, so again, that's 2 double crochets. Oops. Make sure we get that right. My yarn is splitting, so be careful if that happens. Okay, so there's 1 double crochet in that second chain one space, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets to complete the second shell. 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip the first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Okay, so since we're going to skip the first stitch, that's this one right here, and then just single crochet in the next 6. Again, remember to try and get both of the bars of your stitch if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I normally crochet a lot quicker. I'm just trying not to go so fast because if somebody's more of a beginner, I don't want to just, speed racer through this. Okay, so we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then skip the last stitch and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, put a shell in the chain 1 space of the shell from the previous row. So again, that's 2 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, chain 1, 2 more double crochets to complete that shell, and we're just mirroring what we did on the other side. So we're going to skip that chain 2 space between the 2 shells, and we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to put a shell in the chain 1 space of the second shell. Okay, and I've got a little knot here. Let's see if I can get that out. Ooh, that's a bad knot. Let's see how that one happened. I'll probably try and edit this out. I can hear the cats going crazy in the background. It's making me a little bit nervous because why do they decide that they're going to do all this craziness right when I'm recording? And this is a bad knot. There we go. Got it out. Okay, let's see where I was. All right, so that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets to complete that last shell on row 9. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and we have now completed part 1 of this tutorial. Now the reason I am stopping this at this point, guys, is because row 10 through 16 is a repeat throughout the remainder of your shawl. Sorry, I got hair or something in there. So that's why part 2 will be rows 10 through 16, because you will continually repeat rows 10 through 16 throughout the remainder of your shawl until you get the desired length or size that you want. All right, so I apologize, you can hear the cats. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I hope you enjoyed the first part of this tutorial. I will get the second part up later today, so you won't have to wait too long to continue on with the pattern. I really enjoy doing this for you. Again, I apologize for my cats going crazy in the background. It just figures, right? Timing is everything. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And remember, you are all amazing just as you are. Bye.